Gloria Strode. Welcome to a special edition of Straightforward. Our guest panel will inform and educate you on a very important community matter. Keep the freeze. Vote no.
Hi, I'm Tolly Strode, and welcome to Straightforward with Gloria Strode. We're continuing our discussion about the property tax freeze and the impending decision that's going to be made by the voters of Muscogee County, whether to keep or eliminate the current property tax freeze. The vote is going to be yes or no on this ballot question. Shall the act be approved, which eliminates the current base year assessed value homestead exemption for purposes of Muscogee County school and consolidated government ad valorem taxes for homestead property acquired after January the 1st, 2017. And then, of course, you can vote yes. We're advocating that you vote no. And there's a very specific reason why we're saying no. We had in our previous segment a discussion about how we got here. This question, not in this exact form, but the general question itself has been put to Muscogee County voters twice. It's been defeated twice by the voters of Muscogee County. It's also been challenged in court by some taxpayers that were presented with the opportunity to try and eliminate it. And the courts came back and said that this law that we currently have is fair. It treats everyone equitably, and it should stand. And now we are, several years later, back at the ballot box, making another, with an attempt to defeat the freeze again. So what I wanted to do in this particular segment is talk about some of the other implications of eliminating the freeze and the effort that's going on right now to take this benefit away from the taxpayers and homeowners of Muscogee County. And we have our distinguished group here. Bill Ward, you and I know each other from previous work experiences, and we also know each other because of our strong desire to make sure that everyone votes no on this tax freeze. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as an attorney, it strikes me, the first thing that strikes me is the utter bad faith of the proponents and the implementers in putting this measure on the ballot in the first place. As you read it, the measure that people are asked to vote on as they come into the voting booth is almost unintelligible on first read. They don't know that they're being asked to vote yes, and it's written to elicit a yes vote. They don't realize they're asked to vote yes to lose something that not only they have a right to, but they have a vested benefit in, and that's their homestead exemption based on the value of their home when they bought it. And if they vote yes, there is almost an absolute possibility that ultimately everybody will lose that benefit.
That's right, and we talked about that in the previous discussion. Number one, we have one class of taxpayer right now. Everybody's property value is valued at the purchase price. The language in the actual law behind this question on the ballot says that you will have a group of people whose valuation is based on their purchase price, and then you have a group who purchased after January the 1st, 2017, where it will be based on the market valuation, whatever that is. So it's creating two classes, and we know that won't stand a challenge in court.
In constitutional law parlance, that creates an equal rights issue. So you'll have two different classes, and there'll be a fight over the equal rights. But further, I want to get this point across. There's a psychological element behind this by the proponents and implementers of it. This is going to be the last item on a ballot in a very, very important election. So most people will be tired by the time they get to this ballot, and they're going to read this and try to understand it because they want to come in and vote for the president and get the heck out of there. So they're going to look at it, yes, and that's it. it's the last item on the ballot, and it's potentially catastrophic to people who may be living at the budget line and paying their taxes, and all of a sudden there's a risk after this gets challenged and thrown out in court. And the thing is, once it's gone, people can never get their homestead exemption back again.
Yeah. That's an important point that you make there. The challenge in court does get rid of it. And the possibility of us getting this again, well, let me put it to you this way. The laws have changed now where the county cannot affect this law again.
Well, it's in the state constitution. Right now, we're grandfathered in where the local government can do this, but once it's voted out, the current constitution says we can never get it back again.
Yeah. Well, that's a very great point, a good point that you brought up there. And I see that you have your Vote No November 8th flyer. So folks, you'll see these out there and take a good read at them, because they have some important information in them about how this whole issue will impact you. And sir, you've got a story to tell your own self about your thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, my thoughts on it? Well, like I said, I'm medically retired, so I'm on a fixed income. And at the time that I bought my home, they explained to me that my taxes would be frozen at the time I bought my house. Now, it's there to protect people like myself, medically retired, elderly, sick, and people with limited incomes from being arbitrarily subjected to increase in tax rate. If I was to lose it, I would lose control of a lot of my finances. So it would come down, pay my taxes, buy the medicine, buy food, and pay bills. I would vote no. And I'll give you a perfect example. I have an aunt, and they did not explain to them about the tax freeze, so she didn't file for it. So now, every time the year come around, her taxes keep going up and up and up, and she's complaining. So if they get rid of our tax freeze, will that happen to us? And taxes never go down. I
think the consensus is it probably would happen to all of us, because the assessor's going to do his job.
Yeah.
We know that. And there's not an appetite in our city government to lose money.
Yeah.
If anything, they want to generate more money. So I'll tell you what, let's hold that thought, and we're going to come back to our distinguished guests and talk a little bit more about keeping the current freeze. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Straightforward is brought to you by Chalk by Quincy introduces Excellence Redefined, timepieces of the finest technology, luxury, and class with tons of style at chalklifestyle.com. Renal Associates, LLC, a team of physicians dedicated to excellent kidney care with 5 convenient locations to serve you. Stark Avenue, Columbus, Bradley Park, Columbus, Lafayette Parkway, LaGrange, East Burkhalter Avenue, Buena Vista, and Springs Street in Warm Springs. Thai Cuisine, the area's only authentic Thai restaurant, open for lunch and dinner, Monday through Saturday, located in the Village Green Shopping Center on the 280 bypass in Phoenix City.
To represent a home of distinction requires highly qualified real estate professionals with unique experience and local expertise. Elite Ventures Realty is now Prestige Property Brokers, here to assist with buying or selling, construction of your dream home, or building a real estate investment portfolio. And Prestige also offers certified relocation agents to proudly serve our military families. Contact Prestige Property Brokers to begin your next real estate journey.
History is important because it shows where you're coming from and where you're going. Type 2 diabetes is something that runs in my family, which means I'm at risk. In fact, 1 in 3 American adults are at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. And knowing this, if I do nothing, that family history becomes my family's future. And my family is too important to me for that. Take the risk factor assessment today at AskScreenKnow.com.
Welcome back to Straightforward with Gloria Strode, and we're going to continue our conversation about the impending decision that we all will make as voters and taxpayers in Muscogee County, reference the property tax freeze. It's going to be a question on the ballot. It will not say anything about the tax freeze. It will talk about eliminating a right and a benefit that we have as taxpayers to not have the valuation of our homes changed. And the way it reads is, shall the act be approved, which eliminates the current base year assessed value, homestead exemption for the purposes of Muscogee County schools and consolidated city government, ad valorem taxes for homestead property acquired after January 1st, 2017. You'll have an option to say yes or no, and we're advocating that you say no because of the serious implications for all property owners here in Muscogee County. And we just had a good discussion about the implications for someone with fixed income, you know, that relies on stability and certainty in their finances to just be able to make it from month to month. And we also talked about the, I guess, the uncertain nature of this question. It's written to get you to vote yes. However, because of the education that you're getting through this program and through other discussions that we'll be having in the community, we know that you're going to vote no. And there's a bigger picture here too. We've heard a lot about commerce and growth of the city, things of that nature. And I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Biff Haddon, who has some insight on that very topic.
Well, I had a chance to spend, thanks to the community, about 12 years with the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development. A lot of folks will tell you that our current property tax implications hurts recruitment. I'll tell you, it doesn't. What people want to know when they come here is, what's my cost of living? What property taxes am I going to pay? And when they realize that once you've bought a house, it's not going to go up, it sets a very positive tone. And frankly, if they don't like the tax structure here for whatever reason, they're actually going to move into one of our adjoining counties. We're a metropolitan statistical area. So technically, the taxes in Muscogee County are just for Muscogee County. Where we are very unique is, as a community, we have put our trust in the special purpose local option sales tax arena. We have passed 3 over the last several years. We have 1 for transportation, we have 1 for education, and 1 for operations, which was really designed to help us with law enforcement. The majority of those sales taxes revenue actually come from people visiting here, which reduces the tax implication on our local citizens. I would tell you right now that I find it very deceitful in the fact that you write an act to do away with a tax and then try to hide it. Just be very transparent and trust the citizens of our county. If you want to have a tax, say you want to have a tax. If you want to remove a tax, say you want to remove a tax. But tell folks the implications, and they really have not done that.
Right.
So everybody is guessing, but I will tell you, every time you adjust taxes, they go up, and every time they go up, we all pay more.
Right, and I think the implications of that, just from a community standpoint, is if I have dollars going into the community, and then you tell me through this law that you want to redirect those dollars to city government, as a small business owner, I now start to see the discretionary income of the people that are buying my goods and services shrink, because it's no longer in their pockets to use buying my goods and services. It's going to the city government to do whatever they're going to do. You make a very good point. We are a metropolitan area and we're structured this way. People make choices based on their needs. I would also submit to you that a lot of people move to different communities or move to this community or to other communities based on the education system, the schools, the transportation infrastructure, their own personal purposes
Exactly.
about living in an urban setting versus living out in the country or a suburb. I mean, it's just so many things that go into this, and to say that the property tax is hurting Columbus because it makes people not want to live here, I think is disingenuous at its base.
To recruit industry, you need property, you need to have that property ready to be developed, and you need to have good educational systems. That's pre-K, high school, technical college, and college. And we have a very robust, extremely forward-thinking educational structure, not just in Muscogee County, but Harris County, over in Smith Station. You can surround Muscogee County with really good counties. That is your recruiting base. All we have to do is reach out and make that known with property in hand and recruit industry.
Yeah.
That's the best thing we can do to enhance our taxes.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I was interested in hearing from you guys is just this whole concept of taxes and their impact on a homeowner, their decision to buy a home, their decision to not buy a home. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts was when I went to buy a house and I learned about the tax freeze at the time I bought my home, I think it was like 86, 87, they said, well, your taxes are going to be frozen at this level and it's never going to rise. That was the main part of the sale right there. If my taxes keep increasing over the years and going by somebody else's assessment, they can probably tax me right out of my house. So it was a good selling point for me to know that, okay, it's going to be locked in and it's going to stay.
Yeah.
I would say that exactly as he just presented, one of the challenges Muscogee County will have is this. If we remove the property tax freeze, we will find a new property tax level that will actually encourage our current homeowner base to look at surrounding counties with a lower tax base to move to.
And there are lower tax bases around Muscogee County, as I understand it.
Dramatically so. You don't have to go far beyond Fort Mitchell, Casita, with the boom that's gone down there with Fort Benning's growth, or up into Harris County. You see it all the way around us.
Okay. Well, with that thought, we're going to transition to a word with our sponsors. You're watching Straightforward with Gloria Strode, and we're talking about the impending decision referenced the property tax freeze November the 8th.
Straightforward is brought to you by Warrior Outreach. Contact Command Sergeant Major Retired Sam Rhodes or Kathy Rhodes. Freedom Printing for all of your designer printing needs. Gunboat Plaza, Suite 18. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road. Trusted by generation.
Walmart's reason for supporting Thurgood Marshall College Fund is simple. We like to win. And we have been given a lot of exposure to some incredible talent. And we also believe that it's a part of our responsibility to the community to give back. This is a great opportunity to do both. It's been a wonderful experience for us through the years. We've appreciated our partnership. We believe in return on investment, and we have definitely had a remarkable return.
I'm Drew Brees, and being a dad means the world to me. And one of the most important things any parent can do is make sure their kids get active at least 60 minutes each day. Studies show that physical activity not only helps kids stay healthy, it can enhance important skills like concentration and problem solving, which can improve academic performance. This means physical activity can help your kids in the most important game of all, life.
And welcome back to Straightforward with Gloria Strode. I'm Tolly Strode, and I'm joined here by these distinguished gentlemen to talk about the property tax freeze, the impending decision that voters of Muscogee County, property owners of Muscogee County will make in the upcoming election. One of the things that we did not touch upon, but we think it's a very important point, is just this whole concept of losing the freeze and never being able to get it back. Now, the foundation issue in that is that in this question that we're being asked, the underlying assumption is, or the underlying law that we have right now will be eliminated. In other words, it no longer exists, and it will be replaced by a new law. When that old law is eliminated, which we're voting no for that, but if that old law was to be eliminated, we would find ourselves in a situation where we could not go back to that. And there's a lot that goes into that. Biff, do you have some thoughts on that?
Yeah, we've got one chance, and one chance only, to get this right. Without full transparency, I am firmly convinced everybody in Columbus needs to vote no. Until we know down the road what they're really proposing, we are simply opening our wallets and pocketbooks to whatever they determine is where they want to go with taxation. And that just doesn't make sense. That doesn't pass the good sense test.
Yeah, it sure doesn't.
Biff makes an excellent point about the transparency. If the act read, and these words are not in the act, instead of saying shall the act, if it said, shall your homestead exemption freeze, current homestead exemption freeze, be ended so as to allow the city to tax your property at a higher rate, any rational sentient person looking at that would vote no. That's what it says. So people need to be aware of this.
Right.
And if you don't understand something, vote no, because it can't be worse than what you already have.
Yeah, we have certainty right now. Go ahead.
And who in their right mind would vote to raise their taxes, especially on their homes? It makes no sense.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think what Bill said earlier is extremely relevant. Once it is removed, it can never be put back into place. We will forever pay higher taxes. And unfortunately, those that get hurt the worst are those that are on fixed incomes.
Amen.
They will, what caused this act in the first place was we had too many homeowners being faced with loss of their home because of increased taxes.
Right.
So the community, to protect folks, especially those that need it the most, put a property tax in freeze. You remove that, you escalate taxes, you will have people lose their homes.
And we all know from our own personal experience, you know, if you've lived in another community where it is market value, the tax assessor, when he comes out there, he's looking, you know, not necessarily to tax you at a higher rate, but he's looking at the properties around you, and he's going to use that as a basis for the revaluation of your home. And typically that's going to go up. It's not going to go down.
Now, I've talked to many people. I worked on Fort Benning, and I worked, you know, in the community before, and I talked to a lot of people. They say they come here because the taxes are frozen. They leave places like New York, Chicago, California, and they come here because our taxes are frozen, and they know what to expect. And if we follow suit like these other places, we'll lose out also.
Yeah.
You know, you can't afford to live here.
Yeah, we've always felt that this benefit, if marketed correctly, is a big attraction for a lot of people that want certainty in their finances.
Amen.
And that's not just old folks that are looking at retirement. That's young folks too. They're starting new families, and they want some certainty also. You know, there's another important point about this that I think we've brushed upon. We've talked about lightly, but in the law itself, it says that this group of people who purchase homes after January the 1st, 2017, they will be their properties will be valued based on the market. And those of us, and here's the problem that we get into, those of us that have the tax freeze now, we're supposed to continue to pay based on our purchase price. And in that, go ahead, Bill.
It creates two classes of taxpayers, a constitutional equal rights issue, which will be overturned by the courts. And the proponents and implementers of this are counting on that. They know it will be overturned. Hence, we will all lose our homestead exemption.
But the other side of that coin is this. You know, they say that the current system we have is unfair. Well, when you create a group of people that is, their valuation is based on the market, and then you have another group of people whose property value is based on the purchase price, isn't that inherently unfair? Aren't you creating an unfair situation?
Keep it more simple. The courts have already ruled, to include the Supreme Court, the current tax structure as we live it day to day is fair under the law.
And that's the point I wanted to get at. We have a fair system now. This idea that going to something else is going to make it fair, it's already fair. It already treats us all equally. So
vote no.
That's the bottom line.
Literally, vote no.
That's the bottom line.
And if we ever get a truly transparent presentation that this is what we want to do, let us reconsider it.
Yeah.
But don't try and hide from us what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
When it comes to the military looking at bases across the board with military stationing, the one thing they want to know is the health of the community and its stability. This creates a sense of turbulence. We really don't need turbulence. We have a great military installation. Folks are coming here knowing what they're getting into. Keep it in place as it is now, and we should do real well in the future.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Bill.
Rule of thumb, if you don't understand a yes or no ballot referendum, vote no.
Okay.
And like I said, from my point of view, I can't afford for my taxes to go up. I'm on, like I said, fixed income. Why would I vote, or why would you vote, or anybody out there vote, to have their taxes increased? It's crazy. It wouldn't be right or fair.
And with that point, thank you for joining Straightforward with Gloria Strode. Remember, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Vote no, November 8th.